Get this bum out of office ASAP. And Trump posted a big message against Thomas Massie, but when they are supposed to be on the field playing, voting for something, and then they just say, I'm just gonna sit here because I don't like the play. So why are all these things suddenly unconstitutional as applied to Trump? That's really where my problem comes in. Trump says Massie's got to go. Trump versus Massie in the primaries. Trump said he's gonna go and campaign against Thomas there in Kentucky, posting twice about this very recently. The second one saying, get this bum out of office ASAP. And Trump posted a big message against Thomas Massie, and people are wondering what happened here or what's so curious going on. This is strange. Well, Massie was very unhappy with the Iranian strikes. He came out and he said, this is not America first, folks. Trump's calling for regime change, but this is not America first, folks. And yesterday on the show, we talked about Massie's post about this is unconstitutional. And the other people who are talking about strikes by presidents as being unconstitutional are people like the Democrats. And so the question, of course, is, does Thomas Massie have a problem with Trump? Is he standing on principle? Is he just a thorn in the side of the administration? I think a lot of those questions can all be true, actually. So he can believe these things, and he is a thorn in the side of Trump, and he does hate Trump, and they are in congruence with each other. And it is irritating when you want your side to win, and you've got guys like Thomas Massie and Rand Paul who are seemingly not just being good objectors, but who then get on board the game and get on board the team, right? It's like a football analogy. You might disagree with the play, but once the play's called, you go out there and you run your route. And you do a good job so that your team wins the game. We have other people like Rand and Massie who we appreciate as being excellent players on our team. When they get out there and they run, great job. But when they are supposed to be on the field playing, voting for something, and then they just say, I'm just going to sit here because I don't like the play. This is the play. We're going to lose the game if we don't conduct this play. Like, we lose. It's not like we just sit here, we lose the game, right? Is the Republican Party's perspective, or let me say the Trump administration's perspective on this. So then you start to ask yourself, okay, well, is Massie going to flip? And we've got a very precarious situation in the House where we've got just a couple of votes, and Massie's already being obstinate on most administration policies. And we already know that Massie does not like Trump, voted, was a big Ron DeSantis fan, opposed Trump, I think, in 2016 and more. And so if AOC and Ro Khanna are coming out talking about maybe this is unconstitutional, where is Massie on that issue? And of course, we know that there were a lot of other bombings that occurred. In fact, I found this article from 2014. Rewind the clock, going down memory lane here. Now, countries bombed by the U.S. under the Obama administration are also massive. You can see he's the war-ending president who, as of Tuesday, has ordered airstrikes in 7 different countries. Obama in 14. Saying Obama has always acknowledged there are times when military force is necessary. But though he campaigned on ending wars, he has been willing to use it 7 times. Afghanistan, America's longest war, became Obama's. Pakistan, like Afghanistan, militants have been targeting there with U.S. drones flying over Pakistan back in 14. March 2011, Obama announced operations in Libya, protect Libyan civilians. Yemen, facing threats from Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. Drop there. 100 attacks have occurred since 2009. Deaths of hundreds of militants, even many civilians. Somalia, U.S. drones have targeted militants associated with Al-Shabaab, a terrorist network. Iraq, citing a humanitarian crisis, Obama ordered airstrikes in August. Syria, latest front for airstrikes, gripped by civil war. Bashar al-Assad used chemical weapons. There he goes. Obama backed away, but after Congress balked, he backed away and brokered a deal to rid al-Assad of his chemical stockpiles, right? Just like it's a nonstop thing. So to have AOC, to have Massie, to have all these people come out, it's unconstitutional. It's like Obama did it for 8 years. So why are all these things suddenly unconstitutional as applied to Trump? That's really where my problem comes in. I'm fine if Thomas Massie has a position and wants to be, obstinate over it. And maybe he was consistent on it with Obama and the rest of them calling for war powers. In fact, he may have been. Massie was, I think, originally elected back in 2012. So he didn't have a full time with the Obama years, but he just came in there. And I don't think that he's going to lose his primary. He's been in office for a long time, and he won his last elections by very large margins. In fact, in 2024, he didn't even have a Democrat challenger. You can see the votes on that. But his primary individuals, Eric Dieters and Michael McGinnis, both got blown out. And I don't know what parties they're from, probably Republican Party if it's a primary. But in other words, I don't know what their cachet is in the Republican primary there in Kentucky. But Trump says Massie's got to go. And I think this is now escalating beyond the point of just being a useful cudgel. My old take on this was that Massie and Trump were doing the old, good cop, bad cop routine. Like, it's good for Trump to have a foil in both houses, because then he can use that foil to create leverage against the middle. Like, you need somebody who's very bad who you can beat up on so everyone else can see what happens to a person who's bad. Got to make an example out of somebody. So it's a useful foil. So Massie can be a useful foil for Trump, just like Rand Paul kind of is in the Senate. And he can just always make fun of Rand. And then Rand does his thing. It's really irrelevant. You're going to win the game anyways. Like, Rand doesn't want to play. That's fine. He sits out. He doesn't run the ball. We put somebody else in. Republicans still win because we still have the team and the resources we need to drive the ball across the line. But when you don't, when you're like, hey, we need you. Like, we're down a player. There's 10 guys on the field. We need an 11th guy. Rand, you're it. Massie, you're it. And they say, actually, now. So we're going to lose the game now? Now Trump says, we need Massie to go. And so I think this is kind of beyond the useful foil thing that we saw months ago. Like, when a lot of this was new, like, this has crossed the threshold now. Trump said, Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky is not MAGA, even though he likes to say he is. Actually, MAGA doesn't want him, doesn't know him, and doesn't respect him. He is a negative force who almost always votes no matter how good something may be. He's a simple-minded grandstander who thinks it's good policy